Here we go.
Gadd has always seemed to be one of the biggest allies in helping the Mario brothers defeat a certain task, whether it be giving Mario a super power washing machine in order to wipe goop from an entire island, or even giving Luigi the ability to suck up any ghost he comes in contact with the poltergust. But even with all of his helpful deeds in mind, I still can't help to shake the fact that something's not quite right about this goofy guy in a white lab coat. Yes, he did save the day on multiple occasions, but sometimes it makes me think that he may have also started the problem in the first place. And I'm going to go over what makes Gadd so eerie in the first place. Is he actually friend or foe? Dr. Elvin Gadd grew up at a younger age studying thwomps at the Thwomp volcano. He lived at the base, and there he did research on various rock forms and thwomps all around the island. Now, there's not much we can learn from his past life because this is the only form of youth we get from Dr. Gadd. This is the only thing we know from his past, and it comes from Partners in Time, where he helps the older version of himself save the Mushroom Kingdom. But it's worth noting at the time, the professor did not study paranormal activity, but rather simple life forms such as the thwomp creatures. So let's get to the older life of Gadd and look at one of his first inventions, being the time machine in Partners in Time. Well, this is the older version of Gadd, we're done talking about the youth version. So here, Gadd thought it'd be a great idea to build a time machine and go back to revisit the past of Mushroom Kingdom. And Peach goes alongside so she can see firsthand for herself. But something goes wrong and they do not return, and they are stuck in the past. But what does return is an alien species known as the Shroob. Now, apparently the Shroobs have invaded the Mushroom Kingdom sometime in the past, and it's just weird how Gadd sent the time machine to go back to the exact time they were invading so that they could come invade the Mushroom Kingdom in the present. Isn't that kind of suspicious? It's also worth noting that the Cobalt Star was actually founded by Gadd and used to power the time machine, and it's weird that the star was also used by Peach to imprison Princess Elder Shroob, which eventually came out and gave the bros a hectic final battle at the end, which kind of sounds like it was all planned by Gadd from the very beginning. Now, before we leave the Mario & Luigi series, I wanted to take a look at one more thing, or one more person, and that being Fawful. Fawful has this accessory called the Vacuum Helmet, which is very suspicious in and of itself, but the Vacuum Helmet acts as a mode of transportation for Fawful and also a powerful attack mechanism. It also looks very reminiscent of Flood from Mario Sunshine. Even the base looks like it would home some type of liquid, but instead of water, this time it's poison and fire that Fawful uses as attacks. Is it possible that Gadd gave Fawful this device as earlier on as Superstar Saga? It's hard to say, but it is kind of curious nevertheless. And it is clear later on that we'll find out that Gadd doesn't really care who his inventions are for as long as if he's helping someone, which is also kind of mysterious. But alas, let's move on. In Super Mario Sunshine, Gadd is the one that creates Mario a device called Flood that wipes out all the goop from an island that Bowser Jr. has caused havoc to. But where it gets very interesting is that Bowser Jr. himself has a special device which allows him to paint everything with that said goop. And it is made clear that it is in fact Gadd's invention as it has his symbol marking on it, and it also is stated by Bowser Jr. that he picked up this item from a weird man in a lab coat. But what's so interesting about this is Bowser Jr. states that he never did steal it from him. In fact, he was supposedly given the paintbrush.
This is my magic brush. When I draw with this, all my wishes come true. A strange old man in a white coat gave it to me. A strange old man in a white coat.
So this then begs the question, why would Gadd give Bowser Jr. a magical painting device in order to ruin a town just to turn around and give Mario a flood device in order to wash it all away? Now, you could say that maybe Gadd is just a nice guy and Bowser Jr. just looked like he was bored and needed something to play with, so he said, here's this paintbrush, it's just a paintbrush, how bad could it be? But I have a different theory. Because it doesn't show any scene of where Gadd comes to Mario with Flood. In fact, Mario finds Flood in the middle of a random airport sitting down. So if this is Gadd's invention and something that Gadd has been working on and something this powerful, why in the world would Gadd just lay it in the middle of nowhere? Well, here's why. SwankyBox on YouTube actually came up with this theory saying that this may all be a precursor to something to come. Maybe he's testing the waters. That's why he gave Bowser Jr. the product of demise and Mario the product of cleansing. And he wanted to see exactly how this would all unfold as he sat back and watched. It's also quite funny how we don't see Gadd at all during Mario Sunshine when pretty much the entire game is built around his inventions. So this could simply all be a test for something to come later on in the future that he's sitting back and watching carefully. Now, Gadd then shifts most of his time into studying ghosts. He is this big paranormal guy where he loves to see exactly what makes them tick and even capture them in devices known as the poltergeist. The first thing that's kind of off is that Luigi wins a mansion in the mail, which turns out to be a haunted mansion, but as soon as Luigi goes in, he finds none other than Gadd sucking away ghosts in the foyer. If Luigi won the mansion, why in the world is Gadd inside? I mean, it's his mansion, and also, it's considered that King Boo is the one that gave Luigi the invite to the first place in order to trap him and his brother in paintings, but it's weird to me that Gadd is just there sucking up ghosts and King Boo's really not doing anything about it, if he is in there. And it's also making me wonder, what if Gadd's the one that sent out the invitation for Luigi to come as well? Now, why did he call Luigi? Well, Mario's already taken, and the second best is Luigi, because Gadd is obviously not strong enough to counter these ghosts right now, and as you can see, they overwhelm him easily, and he needs Luigi's help in order to start capturing them so he can do his research and begin reverse engineering the way the ghosts act, similar to Luigi's Mansion 2. So in this mansion is an entire family of ghosts, and they inhabit the mansion where they're living peacefully. That is until Luigi and Gadd bust through the front door in order to capture them all and place them in picture frames. And this is all Gadd's idea, as he has no shame in plastering them all over the walls in his lab. Now it gets even weirder when Luigi's exploring the mansion and he finds a cellar full of booze, and none other than King Boo himself. And this is the first time we see the Luigi's Mansion form of King Boo, with the giant purple gem atop of his crown. Now everybody thinks that King Boo's the one that sent out the invite, which is kind of impossible if he's locked in the cellar with all of his fellow Boos. And it also shows that the cellar, it clearly has like holes in it, so how in the world are the Boos not able to escape? Well, it had to be some type of scientifically engineered cellar, that keeps ghosts inside. Gadd claims that all the Boos were the ones that released the ghosts from the paintings. He claims that the ghosts were already in the paintings and they were released from them. So how was Gadd able to capture all the Boos, which are 50 in numbering, and King Boo himself, but not be able to take down any of the basic ghosts within the mansion himself, but he needs Luigi's help? It just all seems very unorganized. In Dark Moon, we clearly get to see that Gadd has created an invention, which is a giant capsule that holds all the ghosts, so he can hold ghosts in specific capsules that he creates. So maybe that's what that cellar was in Luigi's Mansion 1, was a capsule pretty much to hold Boos. Because who else would have captured them? It doesn't make any sense. And maybe Gadd was the one that did all of this. Maybe he found this nice mansion with picture frames of all of these ghosts, and he let them all out to kind of experiment with them, and they went havoc. And perhaps the Boos were also another classification of ghosts that he was studying, and he was working specifically with King Boo in order to make him more stronger. And this is how that comes in. Think about it. How does King Boo keep coming back? At the end of every game, Luigi sucks up King Boo, and his crown as well is taken by Luigi, and supposedly probably given back to Gadd, if I would imagine. Well, from the first game to the second game, it's said that Gadd sold the painting of King Boo in a garage sale, which is just dumb to even think about that one being a thing. He's a very brilliant scientist who loves to study ghosts. Why would he give one of the most powerful ghosts away at a garage sale? And well, we don't really know how he gets from Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon to the brand new Luigi's Mansion 3, but another thing that's kind of curious is the purple gem at the top of King Boo's head. In our last video, we kind of just came to the assumption that King Boo is the same King Boo, whether it be in the Mario Party games or Luigi's Mansion. The only thing that kind of drives him crazy and go into the brink of chaos is the gem on top of his head. It's a corrupted crystal that is placed on top of his crown, which makes him evil. So what if Gadd is the one putting the crystal on King Boo's head, causing all of this mayhem? And with each installment so far, he's able to work better with the ghost, as in Dark Moon, he uses the actual Dark Moon in order to make every ghost inside Evershade Valley super calm and nice, and even helping towards him in his research. So maybe King Boo just works as a small pawn in Gadd's whole game of things, and maybe one day we'll get to see a dark, evil version of Gadd take over for King Boo. Now, Gadd has also had some small appearances in like Mario Party as items and stuff like that in small Mario spin-offs, but one thing I want to talk about is Mario Kart Arcade GP2, which is an arcade version, obviously, of Mario Kart. And one of the characters is Robo Mario, which appears in the sequel for this Mario Kart arcade racing game. And it is clear that Robo Mario is created by Gadd, as his emblem is plastered all over the robot, on his hat, stomach, and even the cart. He also, interestingly enough, came up with a device called the Ghost Gown, which made Gadd turn into a ghost and even fool Luigi, which is also really interesting. And of course, with Luigi's Mansion 3 on the way, we get to see exactly what Gadd's intentions are this time around, and of course the story with King Boo. We do know Gadd created another form of Luigi being Gooigi, and it's kind of weird now that we see Gadd stepping out of his norm. He's able to create gowns to make himself invisible, robot versions of Mario, and even goo versions of Luigi, so it looks like he may even be getting ready to gear up to make his own army of robots and Gooigis. I don't know, but whatever it is, it looks like Gadd is planning for something big in the future, and with each installment, things are getting a little bit crazier. Thank you guys for tuning in today. If you think that Gadd is normal or is he crazy, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and like the video to get the video up and running for everybody to see. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I will see you guys on the next one. See you guys.